It's Thursday, July 9th, 2026. You're listening to the DX Today AI Daily Brief. Today, OpenAI wins government clearance to put GPT 5.6 in front of the public. Elon Musk's XAI ships what he calls an Opus class model at a fraction of the price. And Morgan Stanley puts a $7.8 million price tag on Nvidia's next AI rack. Let's get into it.
OpenAI has received clearance from the federal government to release GPT 5.6 to the general public today. The model family, made up of three variants called Sol, Terra, and Luna, had been restricted since late June to roughly 20 government-vetted partner organizations. The Commerce Department's Center for AI Standards and Innovation ran additional testing, and OpenAI sent technical staff to Washington to answer questions directly. Pricing separates the three tiers sharply. Sol, the company's most capable model, costs $5 per million input tokens and $30 per million output. Terra sits at $2.50 and $15, roughly half the cost of GPT 5.5 for comparable performance. Luna, the budget option, runs $1 and $6. Engadget first reported the clearance.
From Washington to Palo Alto.
Elon Musk's XAI released Grok 4.5 on Wednesday, and Musk is describing it as an Opus class model, a direct comparison to Anthropic's most capable tier. The company says the model was trained across tens of thousands of Nvidia GB300 processors and unusually trained alongside the coding startup Cursor. The pricing is the headline. Grok 4.5 costs $2 per million input tokens and $6 per million output, well under what comparable frontier models charge. It's available now through Grok Build, through Cursor on every plan, and through the company's developer console. European users will have to wait. The model has not yet cleared regulatory review in the European Union, with availability expected later this month.
Now to Mountain View.
Google Photos gained a generative video editor on Wednesday. The feature, called Video Remix, is powered by the company's Gemini Omni model and lives in the Create tab of the Photos app. Users pick from a library of templates or describe what they want in plain language. Overlay a watercolor filter. Change a dark scene to morning light. Replace a background entirely. Google says the tool is aimed at people who would never open professional editing software. It is not free. Video Remix is limited to Google AI, Plus, Pro, and Ultra subscribers who are at least 18 years old, and it is rolling out first in the United States, along with 13 other countries, including India, Japan, Brazil, and Indonesia.
Anthropic widens its agent.
Anthropic has taken Claude Cowork, its general-purpose agent, off the desktop. The tool is now available on the web and on phones, starting with the company's Mac subscribers, with other tiers to follow in the coming weeks. Work can begin on a laptop, continue running in the background, and be reviewed from a phone after the app is closed. When the agent reaches a decision that needs a human, it pushes the question to the user and waits. What is striking is the usage data Anthropic released alongside it. Across 1.2 million sessions at more than 600,000 organizations, software development accounted for just 8.7% of the work. Business process tasks led at 33.4%.
The cost of compute climbs.
A Morgan Stanley research note circulating this week puts the cost of Nvidia's next-generation AI rack at roughly $7.8 million per unit for hyperscale cloud buyers. That is nearly double the $4 million the current generation commands. The individual Rubin processors are not what is driving the increase. They run about $55,000 each in volume. Memory is. Morgan Stanley estimates memory content per rack at around $2 million, a jump of more than 400%, driven by a tripling of low-power DRAM capacity and roughly $1 million in flash storage that barely existed in earlier systems. Memory has gone from under 10% of the bill of materials to about 25%.
A privacy patch in Menlo Park.
Meta is adding a safeguard to its AI glasses designed to stop people from recording others in secret. Under an update announced Wednesday, If the small LED light that signals the camera is active has been covered, taped over, or otherwise tampered with, the glasses will disable the camera entirely. That indicator light has been the central privacy promise of the product since launch, and also its central weakness. Covering it took nothing more than a piece of tape. Reporting from TechCrunch frames the update against a harder truth. Meta continues to expand how much personal data its AI products collect and retain. A camera that shuts itself off is a narrow fix for a very broad concern.
Wall Street changes its mind.
Bank of America has extended a $520 million credit line to OpenAI, according to Bloomberg, months after the bank turned down an earlier request from the company. The reversal is a notable one. Bank of America is the second largest lender in the United States, and its chief executive, Brian Moynihan, has been publicly cautious about extending credit to AI companies that are not yet profitable. The calculation appears to have changed as OpenAI moves toward a public listing. The company filed confidentially with the Securities and Exchange Commission in June. Underwriting mandates on an offering of that size are worth considerably more than the credit line itself. Moynihan's bank did not want to be left out.
In Geneva, a first,
The United Nations AI for Good Global Commission held its first working session in Geneva on Wednesday, convening at the International Telecommunication Union's annual summit. It is the first time the chief executives of major AI companies and sitting heads of state have formally sat down together under a United Nations mandate. The 44-member body is co-chaired by Salesforce Chief Executive Mark Benioff and Rwandan President Paul Kagame. Nvidia's Jensen Huang, Amazon's Andy Jassy, and Microsoft President Brad Smith were in the room. So were leaders from Estonia, Iceland, Namibia, Nigeria, and Singapore. The stated priority is the 2.2 billion people who still have no reliable internet access, and therefore no access to any of this.
private capital, professional services.
Thrive Holdings is raising roughly $2 billion to buy accounting and information technology firms and rebuild them around AI. The information reports that SoftBank, Altimeter Capital, and D1 Capital Partners are backing the round, the first time outside investors have put money into the vehicle. Thrive Holdings was started by Josh Kushner's Thrive Capital, an early OpenAI backer. OpenAI itself took a stake late last year and is lending researchers and engineers to the effort. The two companies built a tax processing agent on OpenAI's Codex, now running inside a Thrive portfolio company that has acquired 48 accounting firms. It is a bet that the fastest way to deploy AI across professional services is to own the firms outright.
A different kind of AI bet.
Yiren Digital, the New York-listed Chinese fintech, announced Wednesday that it has signed a warrant agreement with a privately held company building immersive AI entertainment and what it calls emotional wellness products. It is the fourth such agreement the company has struck, part of a strategy it now describes simply as all in AI. The target company was not named, citing confidentiality. Yiren says it works in AI companionship and role-play entertainment, with an established position across Southeast Asia and Greater China, including Vietnam, Thailand, and Taiwan. The warrant gives Yiren the right to buy existing and newly issued shares at a set price, with the stated objective of eventually becoming the controlling shareholder.
From companionship to clinical care.
Geviti Health launched two products on Wednesday that sit at the intersection of consumer genetics and AI. The first, Geviti Genetics, is a clinical-grade DNA testing platform that analyzes more than 160 genetic markers across 12 health categories, including cardiovascular risk, drug metabolism, cancer risk, and mental health. Samples are processed at a certified laboratory in Houston, with results returned in about 10 business days. The second product, called Makor AI, is a health assistant that draws on a member's blood work, care plan, supplements, and wearable data, alongside the company's own clinical knowledge base. It is the model a growing number of longevity clinics are converging on. Collect everything, then let a model interpret it.
And finally, following the money.
Guideline, an advertising measurement company, launched a product on Wednesday called Verified Ad Intelligence, built to answer a question the industry has been fumbling for 2 years. What is actually happening to advertising inside AI assistants? The dataset covers roughly $200 billion in annual media investment across 65 countries, and critically, it is drawn from actual transactions rather than surveys, modeled estimates, or the platform's own disclosures. It is designed to be queried through assistants, including ChatGPT and Perplexity. The premise is straightforward. As buyers increasingly ask a chatbot where their money should go, the answer needs to rest on verified spending data, rather than on whatever a model happens to have absorbed.
That's your briefing for Thursday, July 9th, 2026. For DX Today, stay curious.